April 17th, 1977, the very first paranormal television show, In Search Of, aired. The show was created by Alan Landsberg and presented by Leonard Nimoy. The format used for In Search Of would be the blueprint used by modern paranormal reality television shows. In fact, there has been a boom of paranormal reality shows and even shows retelling paranormal events in the 2000s. Some of the more popular shows are Most Haunted, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, The Dead Files, and Paranormal State. However, March 4th, 2016, a new challenger approached, Ghost Brothers. And, well, let them explain it.
New team of paranormal investigators, here to answer two questions about ghost hunting. Are ghosts for real? And
why is everybody white? What we're playing, man?
Oh my God.
Well, if you are here, please reveal yourself. I'm Dalen, the leader of the group. We're three best friends who all had paranormal experiences as kids. Now that we're grown, we're not afraid to look for answers. Bro.
I can see why they say black folks don't do this stuff. It's hot, man.
Yo, this is not no Magic Mike, dog.
I'm Juwan, and I'm a ghost brother.
Were you okay with us working together
As equals?
We know what happens in every horror movie when the brother's by himself.
My name is Marcus, and I'm a ghost brother.
Time to pop the trunk on these ghosts. You all right?
It's just wires and cobwebs, homie. You are not welcomed on this property. Our mission is to hit the most haunted locations in America to prove that ghosts are for real. We are the Ghost Brothers.
I'm Melvin, and this is Unexplained Possibilities Reviews, Ghost Brothers. Okay, before going any further, I'm just going to tell you now that this review is pretty much going to be a rant. Ghost Brothers and their follow-up show, Ghost Brothers Haunted House Guests, is clearly not aimed at me for viewership or anyone else who has a serious interest in the paranormal field or anyone looking to be entertained that isn't into short bus humor. I would call these guys the Three Stooges of the paranormal, but these stooges were witty, funny, charming, and likable. The Ghost Brothers are just a bad fart, and it's only impressive because of its staying power, but ultimately insulting to anyone who crosses paths with it. So, to save you time from hearing me rant on, I'm just going to tell you now, I dislike the Ghost Brothers. I gave them 2 chances, and while the second chance slightly gave them more favor, it wasn't nearly enough. These people should not be on television. Their show should not be watched. They're not even worth pointing and laughing at due to their incompetence. This show is a borderline parody of actual good paranormal investigation shows, and I hope that it will soon be swallowed up by the abyss of canceled shows and dead careers. It should have a nice warm spot right next to Brendan Fraser and Rob Schneider's careers. Dalen Spratt, Juwan Mass, and Marcus Harvey are the Ghost Brothers, 3 men who were frat brothers in college and bonded over their paranormal experiences as children. While the 3 have day jobs of which I wish they'd stick to, on the side they do paranormal investigations. While there is no class that can teach one how to investigate the unknown, I have a feeling if there was one, all 3 of them would fail. The Ghost Brothers are at best jokes, and at the very least, downright terrible. I think they do the bare minimum of research when it comes to the locations they investigate, and that might be intentional as to have a more genuine experience at the location and then match it up to the experiences of others and see if they can connect it to the location's history. I, however, know this isn't the case because they have yet to do any such thing. Part of what draws a person into shows like this is the history and stories attached to it, yet Ghost Brothers seem to almost completely omit this, or it's very weak with the history of the properties. One such example I can give is from the first episode of Ghost Brothers, the Magnolia Plantation, which housed slaves. Some of those slaves practiced voodoo. One would think if you're going to investigate a place like that, you'd learn a little about voodoo, right? Not the Ghost Brothers. Instead, we get this.
We're headed to the Magnolia Plantation now to meet Dr. Ken Brown, man, the archaeologist that found voodoo artifacts.
The only reference I know about voodoo is that's how you cure syphilis.
What? Wait, hold on a second.
I gotta ask Ken, how do you cure syphilis?
Wait, why do you have to ask him that?
I feel like every doctor needs to know how to cure syphilis. Dr. Martin Luther King.
Oh, don't think Dr. Phil excluded.
Oh my God.
Clearly, we don't know much about voodoo.
Also, the Ghost Brothers have been investigating the paranormal together since 2011. That's 8 years experience in the field as of this video. 8 years to build up your equipment, perhaps purchase experimental equipment, and pretty much have what you need to capture the various paranormal evidence. With them having a studio backing, you'd also think that they would have a greater budget to get equipment, but you'd be wrong. For some reason, they're using smartphones as EVP recorders and thermal cameras. Why not just actually buy the real digital recorders and thermal cams? Also, why don't they have static cams? I don't understand that. It's very odd to me. In the second show of theirs, Haunted House Guests, they were even using Audacity for audio review. While there's nothing wrong with Audacity, it has limitations that professional software doesn't. Why aren't they using something like Logic Pro X, Adobe Audition, or even Sony SoundForge is beyond me, especially if they're trying to find evidence of spirit voices. Angie K originally brought this up to me as we were watching Ghost Brothers, but the guys seem unnatural, almost like they're poorly reading off a script. I'm fairly certain that the production tells the guys to repeat a joke or a line that wasn't captured properly on camera, and it would come off as unnatural and forced. That's one of the biggest criticisms I have with Ghost Brothers.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Nightfall got here a little too soon.
Well, it usually falls around the same time every day.
Bro, this place looks even scarier at night.
Well, you thought it was gonna be better?
I thought it might be a little bit better, but I don't know, man.
Fellas, I got a dope idea.
What's that?
I really feel like we should recreate that breakfast where the family got poisoned. That could be like a trigger object, man, recreating that whole scene.
Yeah, you know what time it is.
Okay.
Almost everything seems forced. This leads me to the other major criticism, the supposed comedy. I have said many times before that on investigations, I know that investigators will try to lighten the energy and not be overwhelmed by using a little bit of comedy. It is never overdone, and it is indeed for a purpose. Ghost Brothers comedy, however, appears way too often, and it's not funny. In fact, I find most of it stereotypical, disrespectful, and just plain stupid.
Maybe I shouldn't say my real name. You gotta give him the wrong name every time, though. You got to give him a false name first.
Monet A. Marcus.
Not my name. Boy, I tell you, why would you give him my name? I can't give my name. So it's like now we both called, huh?
Wait, I mean, did you win it? Why don't we listen to the EVP?
Yeah.
You know what's low-key kind of crazy? I just realized that I low-key kind of stepped behind you.
I see that, and I was like, okay.
Get it?
You know what it could be, though?
What?
I'm not gonna lie, aunties do go to bed early.
What time is it?
Her hair wrapped and everything. Her hair wrapped. She done took her bra off. She got her moo-moo on. She got a cigarette. Baby, didn't I tell your ass to get in that bed?
You just felt like presence of something,
like
and you really
could
saw.
See a figure, a black figure there.
I'm a black figure.
That you are.
Okay. Time to pop it. Oh, snap. Okay, hold on a second. No, wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second, dog. Hold on a second. Calm down. I got you. Okay, pop the trunk. That's what we do.
Dead time.
Time to pop the trunk on these ghosts.
Do it for the ghost.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the ghost.
I ain't gonna do it.
Do it for the ghost.
Let's go.
I truly do believe people who enjoy such comedy aren't necessarily laughing at the jokes, but laughing at the buffoonery that surrounds the joke. A dance monkey dance ordeal. And that's truly how I feel about the Ghost Brothers. They, in my eyes, are buffoons, and they're here to be laughed at. They truly don't see the mockery that they are. The biggest issue I have with the show is that it set a negative precedent for future paranormal investigators of color. From the opening shot showing Jordans asking why all other investigators are white, the buffoonery, the ignorance, the over-the-top motion that seem like they jump out of an exploitation film, and the seemingly lack of respect, it all sets a tone. Mind you, Haunted House Guest tones down a lot on that junk, but it's still present, it's still embarrassing, and it's still buffoonery. You know what, guys? There's so much I can say, and I'm literally starting to get a headache from this. Bottom line is this. The Ghost Brothers themselves, Dalen, Jawan, and Marcus, are embarrassments, and the little success that they've garnered hasn't come from them being good investigators or even being good in front of a camera. It comes from Pilgrim Studios tapping into a new demographic by using black paranormal investigators to create something different. They got ignorant people, gave them a small budget, told them to say a few catchy things that they can possibly turn into merchandise later, told them to keep saying those stupid jokes and be silly cause it's funny when it isn't, and blast their black and investigating ghosts everywhere. Perhaps off camera the guys are really nice and nothing like their on-screen personas. Somehow I think the ignorance is real though. I wish they take a good long look at the footage they shoot and really think about how they come off. I, for the life of me, cannot recommend this junk. It's an insult to anyone interested and does investigating in the paranormal field. It's an insult to people of color who are looking for representation in the field. And it's a freaking insult to entertainment as a whole. If you watch this show, your brain cells will commit suicide. There are so many better shows out there to watch than this junk. Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, the revival of In Search Of, or if you want online shows, Resident Undead, the archives of Ectovision Paranormal, and most likely the soon-to-be dead Republic Paranormal show. Do not watch Ghost Brothers. It's not worth your time. You'll learn more about the paranormal and have more entertainment being constipated than you would from watching this show. I'm sorry for going off and being unprofessional, but I wanted these guys to do better, and they failed hard. And worse than that, they made it just that much harder for someone of color in the field to succeed unless they act into the buffoonery. So way to go, Ghost Brothers. I hope one day you all feel ashamed of yourselves. With that said, I apologize again for letting this review turn into a rant, but never fear, a review of an actual good paranormal show will be up not too soon after this one. So please stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I hope to God I at least stop someone from watching this junk.